That's joining me now, Fox News contributors Leslie Marshall, Mercedes Schlapp joining in on the conversation. Leslie, let me begin with you as we see Nancy Pelosi on the other side of the screen speaking at the House today. We're waiting for Paul Ryan. Again, I know I ask you this a lot, Leslie, but as for the Democrats, yes, they can make the confirmation hearings, perhaps messy, asking questions of the Rex Tillersons, their business ties and what have you. But do you still get the sense that the Democrats need new leadership?
Yes, I mean, I'm a Democrat, and I've said it before to you that we need new leadership. Some of the leadership's going to remain the same. I think the Republicans need some new leadership, and in a moment we're going to hear from some of the old leadership as well. But with regard to the Democrats, yes, we need new leadership. We need new names. We need some younger folks in the mix going forward. And I think we're going to see that. I mean, historically, elections are very cyclical, and the Democrats have been really blindsided and knocked out of the ring before. They came back stronger than ever and hit back 6 years later. Hopefully it won't take 6, 2, 4 at most is my prediction.
Mercedes, I want to get your comments on all this, what's been going on with the Office of Congressional Ethics. Kind of a strange deal. There's an effort to basically put lawmakers in charge overseeing other lawmakers. That got a lot of pushback. Now Republican leadership says, no, we're going to ditch it for now. What the heck was going on there? As Fred Barnes said, the optics weren't very good.
Absolutely. I mean, my question is why? Why now? Why bring it up at this moment that we're about to launch? The Republicans are about to launch into a new era with Trump as president. Obviously, Trump has made it very clear that his priority is going to be to focus on repealing and replacing Obamacare, as well as tax reform and working on immigration reform. I think that it was just a misstep by the Republican leadership to push forward these proposed changes to the Congressional Ethics Office. Yes, does it need reform? Absolutely. Was a timing off? Absolutely. This is not something they needed to bring up the first day in Congress when you have the Republicans taking power. It is a distraction. Focus on the big fish, not on the little fish. And right now, the big fish is that of replacing Obamacare and honing in on Donald Trump's clear message and directive that he's going to make America great again with these policy changes.
And Mercedes, to follow up, pretty much what you said, Donald Trump said in about 20-something words in a tweet. Why are we bothering with this now when we've got bigger things to deal with? Do you think his influence was enough to make the leadership say, yeah, this is silly?
Well, I'm sure that there were some in the leadership that were not pleased by Donald Trump's tweet. But here's the deal. He's a man in charge. He has an agenda, a vision of how he wants to move America forward. And we really have to focus on the changes that need to be made to Obamacare. The mere fact that we need to push forward an economic growth package in America. And I think that it's clear, that Donald Trump is going to make his opinions heard, and he will. You're going to see it's going to be an interesting, sometimes of a fight between Republicans and Donald Trump. I think for the most part, you're going to find that they're going to work together on many of these big picture issues. But at the end of the day, he's coming in with a mandate, and that mandate is to make change, and Congress is going to have to get used to it.
Fred Barnes, are you still with us? I hope so.
I'm here.
What about this tweeting, the commander in tweet, as he's now being called? I mean, it can be effective. He goes after individual companies, but it goes right over the head of the media in between. He goes directly to the people. What's your thought on that? Is it appropriate for the office, even though he's still only president-elect?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine for the office, but obviously Donald Trump has to be careful. When you're tweeting about things like nuclear weapons, maybe you ought to have second thoughts about that and talk about that in private and or in speeches that you've worked on for a long time, and not just toss out some things that you shouldn't say just on the spur of the moment. So I think he needs to be careful, but tweeting is what Donald Trump is going to do as president. He believes in it. He can reach the American public without the press butting in so easily that he'll never give it up.
I think you're right. Leslie, let me bring you back in. I talked with Fred earlier about the confirmation hearings and the Democrats picking out 8 particular nominees that they say they want to, quote, go after, if you like. Certainly ask some tough questions. At the top of the list, Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Look, there shouldn't be, tit for tat, or people think, they're being sore losers. They know they don't have the votes to stop it. But I think that they, as elected officials, owe it to not only the people that elected or re-elected them, but even the people that elected Donald Trump to have full transparency, to have a full vetting process. And when you look to Rex Tillerson, you must look into the background, not only of finances, but even more so the relationship that he had with foreign nations going forward, because that could be a conflict of interest, specifically in the position that he is being nominated for. He has had a very cozy, more than at best, relationship with Russia. And in light of some of these situations that are taking place with other nations in the world that may not be as friendly and warm with the United States right now, like China, as an example, or even the Philippines, it is, I think, problematic, some of the relationships or the coziness he's had with other nations, especially with Russia and Vladimir Putin, in light of some things we found out in this country. So I think the Democrats are doing their due diligence, as they should, for the American people.